Hi Early On Families, it's Katie here, Family Resource Coordinator. I'm super excited to be kicking off our first ever Growing Together parent video series. Today here I am joined by Ms. Heppler, a kindergarten teacher, and Ms. Reeves, an early childhood educator. They both work here at Interkip Central School in a kindergarten classroom that we're currently sitting in. I want to thank everyone who sent in their questions. Hopefully we'll get to all of them, and if not, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll hopefully get your questions answered. All right. I do just want to note as well too that Ms. Reeves and Ms. Heppler are going to be sharing how the things work in their classroom. Each school and each classroom may work slightly different, but they're going to share their best knowledge. So let's dive right into it. A few questions come in on what a normal day in kindergarten looks like and how much of their day is structured learning versus play-based learning.
Awesome. Okay, so how our classroom starts out, we get to start the day out for an hour outside doing outdoor education. We're really lucky that we have a dedicated outdoor education teacher. Not all schools have that. Sometimes it is the homeroom teacher that teaches outdoor ed. Yeah, and then some schools do have a teacher that is specifically for that. We are lucky that we have that. Cool. After the kids are outside, they come back in. We go right into literacy or math centers that are very structured. Then we come in for a group lesson. Usually then we split into a smaller group. And then we work in about 40 minutes of play twice daily. Okay. As well as recess too. So they get lots of time to play and explore, and then lots of time as well to do a little bit more of structured learning.
I just wanted to add that in outdoor ed, we do a little bit of a task, and then they will go off to play. We encourage them to continue the task if they want to. If they don't, they have the choice to explore as they wish. Same with the stations that they're doing for math and literacy.
Yes.
There is a certain idea that we hope that they get from it, but it's generally with hands-on play-based learning. Same with the free inquiry play during the day. We have certain invitations that they can utilize as they wish, or provocations they are exploring with a certain kind of focus in mind, and that's one of the things that we plan. So it's mostly play-based, inquiry-based, but we do try to squeeze in extra learning. So if they're drawing, we ask them to label it at this time of year, and they start to incorporate the stations into their play. So they'll make graphs and surveys and that sort of stuff. So it sounds like play-based learning, sounds like they're just playing all day, but we sneak in all of the things that they don't even know they're learning.
Exactly.
We also will cater to their interests as well. At some points, if we notice they're really interested, like our class, for example, is very interested in animals and how things grow and change. And so we do try to incorporate a lot of that, knowing that they're going to want to look more into it and explore. Yeah.
Hence the tadpoles growing over there.
Yeah.
How super exciting is that for the children to be able to watch and experience that, and also take part of feeding them as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They love it. Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. Great. Okay. One of the next questions that we had are, what are 3 main skills that you feel would be beneficial for a child to know before starting kindergarten?
So I thought some social emotional skills, so playing with others, sharing, taking turns is something that we feel like kids just know how to do, but actually they really need to be shown and taught how to do that. So if you're at home playing with your kids, maybe you're playing Paw Patrol or whatever, maybe you pretend to snatch it from them and they maybe freak out, and then you can practice what that looks like, problem solving with their peers. Managing emotions, separating from families is a big part of that social emotional skills. And following rules and regulations rules and guidelines is something that it also has to be taught. So for them to know, hey, when I ask you to tuck in your chair, can you please tuck in your chair? We're going to line up. Let's go do that now.
Yeah.
Another one I thought was independent dressing and eating, which is something that we can be working on at home before school starts.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of videos on YouTube. We post them on our Google Classrooms as well, but there's some jacket hacks, flip-flop over the top, pulling their pants up and down, putting their shoes on and not tying, just Velcro, flipping, like just using those strong pincer grasp to pull over the Velcro. Shoes have come a long way now, so some of them are slide-ins, but practicing putting on those shoes independently is really important. Even opening up their containers, you can be practicing that at home. You can open up cheese strings, you can hold one side, they can hold the other, and show them how to practice opening it. If they're packing their lunch, you could put a bear paw in, and you want to leave it in the package, you can just pre-open it for them and they can finish it off. Some classrooms like ours, we have food scissors that they can use to open up their food if they want. There is always an educator in the classroom to help them open up those things if they're stuck, but if you want to set them up for success, having them practice those things starting now so that they're ready in September would be helpful for them.
I don't want
Absolutely.
to ruin your train of thought, but on that point, I actually have a 4-year-old coming into this class. Well, maybe this class, one of the classes, in September. So one of the things I'm doing to get her ready already is we have been practicing with the containers that are going to be in her lunch. So on the weekend, I've been putting her lunches in those containers and having her practice opening them just to make sure she can open them by herself. Same as with getting dressed. She is my oldest, so I know sometimes I'm bad about giving her that opportunity to be independent. And I'm trying to step back more because I know that she's more than capable, just like giving her that chance. But
And they want to.
They really do.
Yes, they'll be so proud once they're able to do it.
But just
and those are all two things that we do in our kindergarten prep program. Is we do go over the container opening, and we have a station set up for families to explore that, as well as the coat flip and the stickers and the shoes to know which foot goes on which foot. Sorry, which shoe goes on which foot. But all great things to be able to practice before.
Sure. And the shoe thing too, I might want to add, and maybe you want to edit this, I don't know.
No.
The shoes, they don't develop that arch until they're about 4 years or 7 years old. So for them to have the shoes on the right foot, it not necessarily mandated. It's not going to change how their foot grows or anything like that at this point of year. So as long as they're just putting their feet in and getting it, that's the first step, and we can work on the right shoe on the right foot later on. But we don't want to stress them out. We do want it to be enjoyable. We want to pump them up and get them ready for success. So whatever baby steps you can do is really helpful. And then the last thing I thought would be really important for them is fine motor skills. We're really noticing that lacking skill in the now every year they're a little bit lacking more and more. Holding scissors, we show them, we put their elbow inside, the thumb is on the top, and those are the prompts that we use for them to use proper pincer grasp for their scissor cutting. Holding a pencil, we ask them to use a tripod grip, so the thumb on the top. There's lots of hacks and a lot of information online. We use a bunch of, sometimes finger holders, but there's lots of different ways that you can get them to hold that properly. But really working on holding that so they can do up their own zippers, they can do their own Velcro, they can open up their own containers, all that sort of stuff is really helpful. Using smaller crayons or smaller pencil crayons, chalk even, for them to be working on at home if they're going to be coloring in something small to encourage that big strong growth, because even though we are thinking we're going digitally and they won't need to be writing, the occupational therapists are really stressing that they really want them to have that solid pincer grasp. So
Absolutely.
Those are the 3 things that I would say for sure.
Yeah, and I think going back to that fine motor skill too is that early playing with Play-Doh and working those muscles
feeding
and
themselves.
beating on a string, beating on a pipe cleaner. It doesn't have to be fancy things. But just really working in those fingers muscles to develop the skills to be able to.
In our JK welcome package, we do have a little handout with all different ideas, but it is really helpful because we're really noticing those skills to be lacking as the years go on.
Yes, absolutely. And in today's world, everybody wants their child to be great at sports, so also how they're going to develop those muscles in their wrists. So if they want to be able to hit that ball, or if they want to shoot that puck, that Play-Doh play is really important, as well as the beating and getting all those fine motors.
Definitely.
Awesome. Okay.